Okay, so I wanted to show what a typical day of BiggerPockets usage looks like for me. So I've logged in as myself, and I will now go to where I spend most of my time on BiggerPockets, which is the forums. So here I go. And for the record, I typically spend in the forums most of my time in the unanswered discussions. And then I just scroll through these to see if there's anything here that I want to answer, anything I want to step into. And I see this one. I'm familiar with lease options. Just for the record, I should point out that this is a post that violates all the rules that we talk about for being successful. They've got no picture. They've only got one post, and the very first post was a question. They've not earned any votes, and so they could use this course, frankly. But let's just go ahead and answer the question. And since I'm not a very fast typist, I will. Oh, okay. I guess I'd already typed this in a previous version of this recording, so it saved it. So here's my response, and I will point out that whenever I do a response, I always try to include the poster's information in there. And we'll talk more about that, about why I do that. But I also welcome them. I mean, it's nice to be welcomed to a new place, and it costs me nothing to be friendly here. I don't know James, but he's here, he's in my community, so why not welcome him? And so I've answered his question. I've welcomed him to BiggerPockets, and now I will post my reply. And now that I've posted, it will come off of the unanswered discussions list because now there's at least one person who's responded. So he comes off that list. So if I go back to that list of unanswered discussions, he'll no longer be on it because I've answered his question. And there's more people. And so I'll typically spend a few minutes going through here, seeing if there's anything I can do to help, seeing if there are questions being asked that I want to respond to. These days, I'm specifically looking for out-of-state and international investors. So if someone from outside of the country or outside of Georgia asks a question about Georgia, I will be Johnny on the spot. I do pay attention to folks asking for referrals. I'm very experienced in seller financing, so I'll typically try to weigh in where it's appropriate on seller financing type deals. But, so I'm looking at this one, and let me pause while I'm thinking about it, and then I'll come back when I'm done and let you know if I wanted to weigh in on this one or not. Okay, so I've decided that I do want to respond, but I need some information first. So let's take a look and see what their situation is. So got a photo, which is good. I know where they are. Pennsylvania, I know what they are, the developers. So far, they've at least taken some positive steps to make themselves reachable, which I like, and they've told me a bit about themselves. So I feel like they are trying to be part of the community. So I'm prepared to step in and see what I can do to help. So let's go back to the previous page, and I will respond, and then again I'll pause, and then when I'm done with my response, I'll go ahead and move forward. Okay, so I have responded to her posts with my own, and again, because they're fairly new to BiggerPockets, I've welcomed them, which again costs me nothing to be friendly, and I use their name so that they'll presumably see my response, and I tried my best to give them a useful answer. In this case, I needed a bit more information about their situation, so I asked them for that. I made a comment about the fact that I don't generally like the idea of contractors living in a property while they're working on it. But she can take my advice or not, but that's at least my 2 cents, and then off it goes. And then once again, as I mentioned, because I've now posted, she will come off of, or this post will come off of the the list of unanswered discussions, and we'll move on. So I'll typically do this for a few minutes. I'll try to find posts that I can respond to. Let's see if there's anything here exciting. Possibly. If, for the record, if I don't have a lot of time, so far I think I've spent maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes here. If I don't have a lot of time, what I will do at very least is find some posts, not here, but elsewhere, that I can vote on. So obviously these are all posts of people who are asking questions, and so there's nothing really to vote on here. So if I really just have a few minutes to get on BiggerPockets, I'll go to the newest posts. I'll see if anyone's covering topics that I care about, and I'll see if there's someone who said something that I can vote on. So of course those are the responses I just made. Let's see. Let's take a look at what's trending. So, do you ever feel landlord's guilt evicting someone? I've evicted many people. I've never felt guilty about it. Let's see what that... Now, it's 145 replies, so... I generally speaking try to avoid threads that are that long, but let's just dive in there and see what we got. So, someone's asking about evictions and guilt, and my philosophy on this one's pretty straightforward, and these folks are pretty much in agreement. So if I had only a few minutes to do something on BiggerPockets that was constructive, at very least, I will look and see if there are responses from people that I can vote on. And there is no guilt in business, I agree with completely, so hey, I'll give them a vote. It costs me nothing. I have as many votes as I want, but now I've voted for them. And so I suspect most of the people that are here are going to say something similar to what I would say. So yeah, I would vote. So this one looks like a good one too. I can't like that. All right, so I'm voting. So I've done 2 votes. So that I can do in 2 minutes. I can find a post, I can find a thread that I care about, I can find someone who's posting that says something that I agree with, that I think is vote worthy, and then I can click the little link and I can vote. And everybody has that kind of time. So if you don't have time to post, or if you don't feel comfortable posting, at very least you can vote. And so when I'm running short on time, that's what I'll try to do. But those are the 2 main things that I'll do on BiggerPockets. I'll also typically, I'll look at my notifications to see if anybody has recently sent me a colleague request or voted for one of my posts. All that activity shows up here. But true confession time, I do now have my assistant, Karina, who's helping me manage my BiggerPockets account, and so she has access to my login and password, so she can go in and send or respond to colleague requests, accept colleague requests, in some cases send people the referral information that they need. So I don't often get to see all the activity here that needs my attention because she's already taken care of it. But if you're doing this yourself, as you get people responding to you, it'll show up here and you'll be able to see all the activity that you've had going on. You can see that today is the 20th, so just this week I've had 4 colleague requests, someone voted on a post of mine. I've had a fair amount of activity, but that's typically what a week of mine looks like.